Hello, everybody. Guess what, guys? It is official. It's the start of shit talking season. That's right. Football season has started. Now, when it comes to shit talking, a lot of people, shit talking for like this whole EVS versus Eric July shit. Guess what? When it comes to shit talking, those guys are amateurs. The real shit talking starts now. Go to your local bar. Okay, I challenge you. Go to a local bar and you will see guys, especially specifically go to a bar with the direct ticket. Okay, so you can go to a bar and you got like 8 games playing at the exact same time. You're gonna see all sorts of guys. You're gonna see Ravens fans sitting right next to Falcons fans, sitting right next to Cowboys fans and Steelers fans, and they're going to be shit talking. I mean shit talking. And guess what? They're going to spend 4 quarters shit talking each other, putting each other's teams down. But at the end of that fourth quarter, everything goes back to normal. They're back to being, and that's the thing is that they'll spend uh they'll spend the entire time shit talking each other while they buy each other beers and buying rounds of shots. And we really need in this whole independent comic space. We need to get back to shit talking but showing respect to each other and supporting each other. I'd like to personally give a thank you to Eric July for the video he just recently did, showing, highlighting different independent creators and how and like just introducing his audience. Like, hey, if you don't know about these guys, check out their stuff. They're doing a really good job. And almost every single one of them has produced multiple books. The only person that he spotlighted who hasn't produced a book yet is Vaughn Coleman. But as I've said her numerous times, Vaughn Coleman, his enthusiasm for comics is infectious, very infectious. So I would encourage everybody to check out that video that Eric July did and check out those creators if you don't know about them. Okay? Now, back to the topic on hand. The NFL season started. And I remember when this whole cancel culture stuff started. And a lot of people became aware of it during the pandemic. And I remember the football season of 2020. And I remember making videos and I remember making posts about how silly and stupid cancel culture was, because under that premise, then if you are a Ravens fan, then anybody who's a Steelers fan or a Browns fan needs to be canceled. They're all yacht thieves. Okay, that's so stupid. And I remember saying how I was like, under the ideology of these people who practice cancel culture, it is impossible for a Steelers fan and a Browns fan to be friends. And I use those because there's a heated rivalry between those two teams, just as there's a heated rivalry between Steelers and Ravens. Okay, and I look at it where it's like, and I was like, it's so stupid. And that's where my whole thing about cancel culture. This is so stupid. So what if they don't believe the same thing as you? It When you're in a bubble and you only hear the same thing, you're not going to get a good. You're not going to have a good rounded outlook on things. So, and I said this last year, so I'm going to reiterate it this year. My main concern now, when it comes to the football season, is protests. Not protests at the game. Okay, you're always going to have those idiots running out on the field. Because we all have seen where an idiot runs out on the field and players just stop playing. They let security handle it, or which we've all seen and we've laughed at, is that guy rushing the scene or in the field, and he gets too close to a football player, and he just boom barrels into him, tackles him, and then just let security then take care of it. Okay, that's not what my concern is. My concern is the regular fan, the regular fan going out to the stadium. Okay, we've all seen this year how the protesters have gotten more and more vigilant, and where they're going out, and we all saw that during the summertime, where a bunch of protesters blocked access to an airport because they were protesting the use of fossil fuels and the amount of waste of the airplanes, and people were missing their flights because of that. Okay, those are regular people. Okay, it's not going to be good if these protesters decide to block the lanes of the highway leading to a stadium, or worse yet, leaving the stadium. Because remember, a lot of those fans they're kind of like what I refer to as football guy. Okay, these alpha males. And I don't want to say failed alpha males, but there's these alpha males. They played football all through high school, but that's as far as they went. They may have gone to college, but they didn't go to college for football. They may have gone to a college that had a football team, so they're diehard towards their college football team, but they're still big, diehard fans, big, diehard fans to their national football team. So they're heading to the stadium. They've got lots of alcohol because they're pre-gaming, and they can't get to the football stadium to pregame and tailgate because of protesters. Or worse yet, they make it to the football stadium. They spend all day there drinking, and then they go to the game. They're drinking at the game, and they've got beer in their vehicles to drink afterwards. They're leaving the game. They are hopped up on alcohol, and the protesters are now out. You make a lot of bad decisions, and a lot of those things that tell you that you would say no to, you don't say no to when you're loaded up on alcohol. And I'm not looking forward to what's going to happen if these protesters decide to block the highway, keeping all these people from leaving the stadium or getting home. And we're going to have altercations. And I don't want that. So this is a conversation you want to have with your friends who are big die-hard football fans and they go to these football games. Is have the conversation with them now, so that way they can they're aware of it. They can help them with their decision-making skills now, so might be able to help them from making big bad decisions when they're hopped up on alcohol and they're in the moment. So that's the one thing I was worried about that last year. We didn't have it last year, but unfortunately we live in a world where you think, no, it's only a matter of time. When you take a look at all those college protests we had this last spring or in college campuses, and how the protesters in these big cities, how they were allowed to basically run rampant without any repercussions. What's going to happen when they decide to go up against Alpha Man? When they go up against Football Guy? Okay, football guys are like, I don't care. Okay, I don't. I support you, but you're in my way, and they're going to take it out on them, especially if alcohol's involved. So it's just something that needs to be said. It needs to be addressed. I hope it does not. I really hope we do. I hope, like last year, I was wrong. I hope this year I am wrong, but I have that fear. and I don't want to see the news of that because unfortunately they're going, especially with these inner cities, or these big metropolis cities, they're going to side with the protesters and not against the. And what's going to happen then? Everybody's going like, oh wait, you're not you're not providing us with safety going to these games. We're not going to go to these games. What happens? Those attendance is down. Will those teams stay in those cities? I mean, perfect example is you take a look what happened uh, out in San Francisco. The first round pick for the 49ers was shot last weekend. Okay, I mean, he wasn't doing anything. He was being someone was holding him up and they shot him because he wasn't giving him what he wanted. And I just I'm worried. I'm worried for the players. I'm worried for the fans because of all these protests, and I hope we don't have it. But the conversation has to be said. Like I said, I've seen it so many times here at the bar. I mean, you gotta keep in mind when it comes to all this stuff. I'm here at my local dive bar. Okay, when it comes to this stuff, my local dive bar, it's my safe space. It's my safe space. Okay, like I said, I see people sitting side by side, talking shit all game long, but game's over, they're friends. The next game comes on, and they once again, I'll pick this team, you pick this team, and we'll just keep talking shit. But they're respectful to each other because it's football. It's fun. It's our entertainment. Just as you who's watching it, most likely your entertainment is probably not football. It's comic books. Oh, and speaking of comic books, this is a montage of Andy Smith's drawings from his Nice and Tight book. So make sure you check out his. He has that available on his Arno's website. I think he has a website, but he does have it available. Make sure you also check out his book, Cordrath: The Awakening. He's working hard on it. Um, him and Dennis are really they fire on all cylinders. That's and Andy and Dennis. I think if they watch this video, I think uh, they can add their own personal insight to what they think about this topic with uh, these protesters. So, I mean, Andy, Dennis, I'd like to know what your opinion is of this on this topic because I hate the fact that we're getting closer and closer to the possibility of it happening. And the reason why I mention those two specifically is because those two are football fans. I would love for those guys to start doing a comic book football show because there's a lot. And I remember last year, not this year, but last year, when Dennis was at Garden State, I suggested the idea to him, and he was kind of like, there's not really much of an overlap. And I was kind of like, I think you should do it for fun, and it gives you a topic to grow on. Plus, also it gives you the ability for those two guys to have guests on. They can have a guest on, let's say it's Rags Morales, okay? And I know Rags Morales. I'm pretty sure he's a Jets fan. It gives them the ability to have him on and like, hey, we're just going to talk comic books and we're talking sports. It's all we're talking about. We'd like to have you on. Oh, okay. They can talk and they can spend the entire episode talking about comics and then shit talking each other about football and have fun. And I know there's other people in the comics book community who are football fans, and it gives them the ability to uh, broaden their audience and introduce. Because that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing with the independent scene is you can only go so far in the same circles promoting your book. You got to be able to diversify not just your content when you're streaming, but also shows that you go on to. So if they start a football show, maybe they can get onto other sports shows to talk sports and the opportunity to introduce a whole new audience to their product. So, but that's how I see it. So, yeah, make sure you check out Quarter After Awakening. Uh, I'm having fun with this. You can see what I did was I Aquaman from one page, Wonder Woman from one page, uh, Green Lantern from another page, and then I took the image of the guy in the cloak from it was from the first comic, and I enlarged him big time and traced him on. So I guess you could say he's like the time trapper. So I have them where they're all fighting the time trap. That's the reason why I added these uh, down here. I added these pages. So they're fighting the time trapper, and these are pages from the book of knowledge, book of history, whatever the time trapper that book he uses. Gives the ability to just having fun with it, manipulate it. So, but and the reason why is because I don't have anything else to work on while I'm doing these videos. That's why I pulled this one out. I'm like, I need something to work on. So, because I've got other pages I'm working on, but they're like either they're not at a stage for inking, or like with my own book, Scott Investigators, I can't let you see any more pages because there's too many reveals to the end of the book. So, but guys, you all have a great day. Enjoy your football game. If you don't enjoy football game, you know what? Even if you're not a football fan, go out to a sports bar, okay, and just interact with a football fan. You'll find that you guys have a lot more in common than you think. So, you guys all have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. And remember, life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.